My name's Claire Rousay, and this is my Deep Digs. Black Pus, all my relations. I already own this record, and I have for a long time. I got it when it came out. I was already a fan of various projects that Brian has been involved with, but this was like the pop record for me. I heard Fly on the Wall. I think that's it. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is like the studio proper recording pop record. And that's like how I solidified it in my mind. Yeah, I mean, like, I wasn't around for the, the true start of everything. I was just a child, but it was nice to get into that once the internet existed. And like learning things by like going through Wikipedia pages, being a kid, like listening to music and finding it online, like pre-Spotify, but post-internet being like where you get most information about music. Yeah, I like found Lightning Bolt and then like related the Black Pus stuff, and then Black Dice and Hella weirdly at the same time, and I was like, this is the music I like. I think this record was like the first time I got into like any kind of like extreme like experimental music, or like in my mind it was really extreme compared to like, I don't know, Matchbox 20 or something. So it was a nice change of pace from Matchbox 20 straight into the noise. I was listening to Matchbox 20 and then I was just like, you know what, I think I should give Black Pus a shot. And it won me over. Town and country, it all has to do with it. So the next one, as you can see from the CD, is the Town and Country record. It all has to do with it. The first thing that I got really into about this release was the title and the capitalization and the punctuation in the album title. I thought that was really interesting. Obviously the album art is, I don't know if you can see it on this small piece of media, but it's quite beautiful. And for a long time I only had I stole it like on the internet, and I only had a copy of Fine Italian Hand. So I only had a like pirated version of this that only had one track. So I thought the whole release was one track that was like had a separate album title, and then it was just like the one song. But then I learned how to pirate things better, and I stole the rest of it. And this is the first time I've ever seen this like in real life. So it's cool to hold it. And I had no idea who any of the people in this group were when I started listening to it. But over time, I was very fortunate to meet and listen to more music by various people in this project. But yeah, I know. This is kind of like, I wouldn't say like the sole inspiration for like what I'm doing, but it was definitely like one of those formative records where I was like, this is like some music that I can get down with, and I would like to make it also. Yeah, and I don't think it's like I don't think it's intentional. I mean, I don't know them, but like using acoustic instruments, and it's kind of like creating these sounds that could be electronic. That's kind of something that I'm like interested in. I don't play a lot of instruments, so I like record other people doing it. So the way it's like arranged is kind of the interesting part to me, not necessarily like the technical abilities. But I think like using acoustic instruments to kind of make sounds that could be electronic is something that I'm interested in doing that I got from that record. Arkbro and Johan Graden. I get along without you very well. I always forget the title of this because it's really long, but I really like all the songs. It's and also it's like impossible to read.
Yeah,
if you're like, oh, I forgot the title. I get along without you very well. Yeah, this is also another pop hit, courtesy of Arkbro and Johan Graden. I think that's how you say it. My favorite track on here is Temple. I think that's like the hit. But also Close is a hit. I don't know which ones are the singles.
In the time of ending, rise, descending, how to search for.
I thought this record was like, I don't know, like low meets low. I don't know. It was unexpected. I'm sure like everybody who didn't know this was coming out when it was announced was kind of shocked to hear Arkbro doing like songs, as was I. But I don't know. It's like kind of taking what she already does, and it's somehow like fast. Like the pace is like faster than what she normally does, but it feels slower, like because of the addition of like vocals and lyrics. It's like a weird thing where like you make something into pop music and then it ends up feeling like more out than maybe music that you've made before that's out. At least that's how I'm like interpreting it. I also have this record. Thank you to Bettina for giving it to me. But I hadn't held a copy of it until it was sent to me, and I really love the like the artwork, and then seeing all the stuff on the back. It's like the design and layout is very, very much my vibe. Very minimal. I don't know. Taking risks is experimental. Oval, Doc. I don't think I've ever talked about this record out loud. Like, I don't think I've ever said, oh, that record, Doc. Like, I've never talked about this in real life to anybody. I've only, like, emailed people about it. So I'm like, I have no idea, like, how to talk about it. Like, I like everything that he does, but it's not necessarily, like, a genre that I'm, like, well, like, versed in. And it's honestly not even a genre that, like, I like anything else that sounds like it. But there's something about it like being, because this is like the mid to to late 90s. And like that's like, I don't know, the sounds that like he's getting on this record are like so, I think, beyond that time. I mean, it's very like, I think, dated by like genre, and like, you know, it sounds like part of like the movement that it was like part of, but I think somehow it's also like beyond that. And like the records, like the like releases surrounding this one, I feel like fit more neatly into like his catalog, or like, I don't know, that time. But this kind of felt like, at least from my very like outside perspective, I was like a child when this came out. I was literally like not even in school. It's like definitely like dated, and not in like a bad way. It's just like it makes sense for the era, but it definitely is like the outlier, I think, because I think like you either like it or you're like, that's like my least favorite one. It's my favorite. I think the first time I heard it, my friend Mari, who does Maurice, she sent it to me and she was like, we should make music that sounds like this. And I was like, oh my god, yeah, this is amazing. We definitely should, because we were like trying to figure out how to like, I think, finish a record. And she was like, we should definitely do something that sounds like this to finish the record. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I think like just having something to be stoked about with another person is like the more important part. Because I feel like every time I listen to a record with somebody else, or like somebody recommends something, I'm like, oh shit, like we're both like hyped on this, and like that's the thing that's gonna make us make music, whether it sounds like it or not. But.
Do you ever think about what I'm doing when you're still in you? 'Cause I do.
Thanks for watching my deep takes. My name's Claire Outsey. My new record, Sentiment, is out April 2024.
Maybe just blacking out.